What's up guys, Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with the OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you tuning in, listening to me talk about these workouts. Any feedback, give me that heads up. If you find value in them, information is in the description to support me. We're gonna break down Monday, April 7th. This will also repeat Tuesday, April 22nd. We're gonna see strength on the treads, power on the rower, endurance on the weight floor. We'll talk about the 2G, the 3G, and then get you on out of here. So as far as key concepts go today on the treads, we're gonna see two 11-minute blocks, accumulate as much distance as possible in block 1, match your beat in block 2, but it's always a 1-minute push and a 1-minute base. Your goal is to keep your push as we throw in some low inclines to add challenge to our strength. On the rower, you have 2 shots at a 100-meter all-out row in each floor block. Can you improve on your time the second attempt? On the floor, we'll use the BOSU for strong and stable exercises. First movement, lift heavy. Second one, challenge your stability. Okay. So as mentioned, you'll need the BOSUs out, so be aware of that. Looking at the treads, 11-minute block, 90-second walk recovery, block 2, 11 minutes. They're both going to be done in the exact same way. The key difference, of course, is the block 2 inclines are inversed. So we'll start block 1, flat road, 1-minute push, 1-minute base. And then 1.5% push, 2%, 2.5, and 3%. So 4 rounds of that push-base combo with incline after that first one. That's gonna put you right at 10 minutes and then a 1-minute all out at the very end. Knowing that we are at an incline over time, and we're also setting a distance goal to try to match or beat in block 2, this is an opportunity for members to start more on that conservative end for their push. So maybe 0.5 to 1 over their base for the joggers and runners. Power walkers, they're gonna keep 6% and then they're gonna add incline to that, but have them increase their speed they use for their push and then come back to their base power walk speed during their flat road base, okay? Bikes and striders, they're just gonna alternate between push and base gears. Now, the goal is to maintain that push as the incline goes higher. So if they did start conservative, like around 0.5, by that last push at 3% incline, that should feel very similar to like 1 or maybe even 1.5 over their base because of the incline, but also because of the accumulated fatigue that they will have over this block. At the end of 11 minutes, check their distance, and then in block 2, they'll start at 3%, work their way down. Now, this is a block where if they were conservative in block 1, maybe they start with that same one, but as they lose incline, they bump up that push speed because that is going to be the goal in this block, right? So if they start aggressive in block 1, that's going to make block 2 that much more challenging. So definitely lead them into that, knowing that we are going to try to increase in block 2. So be conservative in block 1. Okay. Otherwise, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, flat road, base, 1 minute all out. Simple. Bikes and striders, one thing they could do is work on increasing RPMs with a higher gear during their push. So they might only go 3 gears over base, but see if they could hold 5 RPMs higher than what they normally do. And that'd be a good way to kind of increase that push speed for the bikes and striders. Now, when we look at the weight floor, there's 2 blocks here, both 11 minutes, and they're gonna be both set up the same way. You're gonna have a strong and stable, rest, another strong and stable, rest, and then they go to the row, 100-meter all out, rack, rest, recover, repeat that row. Can they improve on their time? And then they go back to the weight floor and they stay on the weight floor for the remainder of the block, okay? So in block 1, we're gonna see the single arm reverse lunge, 8 on each side, followed by the single arm split squat with the back foot elevated on the BOSU. The key thing for this one is they're gonna do the first movement on both sides, then do the stability movement on both sides, okay? Whichever arm has the weight, that's the foot that is gonna either be sent back or stays back depending on the movement pattern. The second one is gonna be a floor chest press, followed by BOSU side-to-side push-ups. For this one, a good alternative, if people have any wrist issues and that side-to-side push-up is pretty tough, they could do the floor chest press and then take the same weight or maybe 5 pounds lighter and do shoulders on the BOSU and do a bridge hold chest press as another way to elicit some stability work, okay? That's block one. Don't forget the 100-meter all out, rinse and repeat. Then they go back to their back-to-backs. Now in block two, we're gonna see reverse grip low row paired up with the bridge hold dumbbell pullover. For that one, the feet are on the BOSU, shoulders are on the floor, okay? So a little bit of stability work through the midline and the hips as their hips are elevated with the feet on the BOSU. Then the next strong and stable is gonna be high plank pull through. Yes, this is the regular plank pull through, nothing weird. So plank position, grab that dumbbell, move it over, keep those hips stable, paired up with the BOSU side plank hip dip. So from bird's eye view, shoulders are stacked over that elbow joint, and you want the hips, shoulders, ankles, one straight line, so that they are doing their best like piece of bread in the toaster impression. Okay, we don't want any pike or extension through the lower back. Everything stays straight, hips lower down, and then pull back up. Okay, and then they have the 1 minute or 100-meter all out row, rack, recover, do it again. Try to improve, and then they go back on the weight floor, they stay there. Their finisher is gonna be the side-to-side push-up from block one. Nothing too crazy for the 2G. All right, looking at the 3G, block one, block two, very similar to what we saw in the 2G, except for now, very aggressive inclines. We're gonna do 1 minute flat road, and then base, and then a 2%, 3%, and then at the end is a 30-second all out. So there's no 0.5% inclines, they're just making bigger jumps. So block two, 3%, 2%, flat road, and then the all out. Same idea though, maintain their push in block one as the incline goes up, try to increase the speed in block two. So same thought process applies here. Try to use something conservative in block one for their push, that way they can increase it in block two. Now the rowers, there's a lot going on here, but it follows a pattern. It's gonna be 2 rounds of 100, 150, 200, 150, 100. So you have a pyramid style of distances. Once you've done 2 rounds of one distance, you then have a body weight exercise. It's a combo movement, 3 in and outs to 3 narrow squats. So you start with feet together, out, back is 1, so like a jumping jack. After 3, feet are close, they do 3 squats, that's 1 rep. I got 6 of those. So a lot of counting going on. Once they're done with that though, they go to the next movement, 150, 2 rounds, the same in and out, narrow squat position, all the way through. Okay, if they make it all the way through, their bonus is row until the finisher. Their main objective is to try to match or beat their time on the second round of each distance. Okay, so make sure they take adequate rest. I like to use the water as a guide. So once they finish, they rack their handle, the water's still spinning, let the water stop, and then they go. Because that's at least 20-ish seconds of recovery. Ideally, they take longer, so that way they can maintain the intensity, especially when they get to that 200-meter all-out row, because most people will probably take about 45 seconds or so. So equal rest to work is a good gauge. So if it took them 45 seconds, they should rest for about 45 seconds to try to maintain that output. On the weight floor, it's just 3 of the 4 back-to-backs that we saw in the 2G. So they'll have a single arm reverse lunge with the split squat, floor chest press, side-to-side push-up, reverse grip low row, and the bridge hold pullover. Same finisher of the side-to-side push-up. They'll do 1 back-to-back, rest, do the next one, rest, do the next one, rest, and then back to the beginning. With this 14-minute block, they should definitely get through at least 2 rounds of everything and maybe start a 3rd round and probably get through the first 2 back-to-backs. If anyone's blazing through this, really emphasize lifting heavy on the strong part and slow down the stability work so they can really challenge their balance and their stability. Speeding through it is just gonna remove that opportunity for them to get better. There you go. That's workout there for Monday, April 7th. Once again, repeats Tuesday, April 26th. Coach you down.